Hello and welcome everybody to today's Commodities Corner presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. And today, of course, we will be going through live market analysis. We'll go through a watch list of trade ideas, a forecast of where we expect gold, silver and crude oil to be heading next. We'll be going through commodity currencies, answering questions, and as always, providing live support as well. So before we get into it, let's just go through and introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. So the Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies, the agriculture markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Over the last 10 years, myself and my team of experts, we have trained and mentored thousands of private traders from all over the world on our exclusive research-driven strategies. For further information on our services, please just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. You can also get access to all of the latest commodity reports as well, very simply by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and you'll get access to the commodity reports where we go into more detail on the fundamentals, the technicals, geopolitical news, and our forecast for gold, silver, crude oil. So do make sure, if you have not done so already, that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also, every single binary webinar is recorded, subsequently uploaded to the binary.com YouTube channel as well. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you're also subscribed to that channel so that you don't miss out on the trainings and the recordings of Commodities Corner if you happen to miss any of the sessions. Okay, so with that, we'll go over to the markets. There's a lot happening actually at the moment, a lot of trade setups which you can have a look at and go through. On Friday, we discussed a number of trade opportunities and really what we're looking at over the next couple of weeks as we go towards the last couple of weeks here in December, and some of the big trade opportunities that I see setting up, and those really look to be coming to fruition now. So I'll go through those with you, some of the top trade ideas that I'm looking at over this period as well. We'll be hosting another session of Commodities Corner on Friday too, so make sure you subscribe to that session as well. But for today's trade ideas, we'll go through what we're expecting really into the FOMC statement on Wednesday too. So with that, let me just bring over my screens. I'll share those with you and I'll show you exactly what we're looking at the moment, just my thinking right now with respect to some of the trade ideas that we see at the moment. Okay, so just a very quick check-in. Yep, fantastic. Thanks very much, Sharice. Okay, right. So let's just have a look at what is leading right now. So we want to really pay attention to some of the moves that are happening right now. So if I cast my mind back to exactly this time last year, on the Monday before the FOMC statement, we actually had our buy signal on gold. We got triggered into a long on gold, which ended up delivering over 1,000 points between really now and so from mid-December right the way towards the end of January. And I see the potential now. I mean, even looking at the price action today, platinum's up 0.5%, silver's up 0.45%, gold's up 0.37%. The euro, which you expect to be strong at this time of year, is up. I mentioned on Friday, a potential good swing trade opportunity could be the euro New Zealand dollar. So what I'm expecting, before we go over to the charts and we go over that in a little bit more detail, let me just bring up the gold chart here. We've got the potential for a bull flag now. What I'm looking at over this period, I'm looking at from Wednesday's FOMC statement and onwards, but bear in mind last year it moved earlier, so gold started to pick up momentum before the FOMC statement. If it keeps going like this, we'll likely need to add to our position as well before the close today, or as we get into the Asia Pacific session, if it ends up being a bull flag, and I'll go through that with you shortly. The anticipation is that we should start to see support come into gold this week, silver, platinum as well. Gold and silver, particularly in December, then platinum more so in January. I'm expecting the euro to be one of the strongest out of the currencies, stronger than the New Zealand dollar and also stronger than Australian dollars. So therefore, euro New Zealand dollar and euro Australian dollar, I'm looking at more momentum over the next couple of weeks here to the upside. Crude oil is back in filling quite a lot around the $50 zone. I'm still expecting range-bound price action between 50 to 53 US dollars per barrel on crude oil over the course of this week. And those are really some of the top trade ideas that I'm looking at. I'm not going to go into lots of FX trades over this period. There's just a few key swing trades that I see having good potential, but it's more so commodities, especially after Wednesday's FOMC statement, where we want to capitalize on some of the moves. And then what you want to have a look at is ideally you want to just check in on the money managers. So what we've seen in terms of hedge funds and money managers. So hedge funds and money managers switched to a net long position in gold over the last week. So they've now switched from being net short and they've now switched into net long, which is important given the time of year this is and given that we're anticipating a January effect move as we get towards the end of December and into January. Gold rose on Monday as a slide in the dollar made the bullion more attractive to holders of other currencies, while some investors took cover as stocks globally slipped. So we've seen the US equity market slip today. So both the S&P 500 and Dow Jones are on the back foot right now. Gold is picking up momentum at the moment. We've got a nice price structure which could lend to more support to the upside. And also we just had a few narratives and updates which are occurring right now in the FX market. So we got the rate decision on Wednesday. The dollar right now sitting around the 18-month highs reached in the previous session. Now, what did we mention previously on Friday? It's very common on Monday to be counterflow from Friday. So if you have a number of trades that are doing really well on Friday into the close, it's my opinion and our strategy at the moment that we would bank a lot of those trades on Friday because of the high probability for counterflow on Monday. It's what we've been seeing now for quite a while. So basically, if the US dollar rallies on Friday, expect it to pull back on Monday. If the US dollar sells off on Friday, expect it to rally on Monday. It's how the markets have been for a while, the counterflow move on Monday. And that's where you want to be a bit careful. Because, for example, today we've got the US dollar selling off, but it doesn't mean that it will necessarily keep selling off for the rest of the week. It might be just another counterflow Monday, and then from basically to the close today and then tomorrow, the US dollar starts picking up momentum to the upside again and has that natural move that you would see prior to an FOMC statement. So with that, we'll have a look at the charts, and I'll talk you through what we're seeing at the moment. But right now, I would say that gold, if it breaks out, tomorrow in particular, it may not pull back any further than it's done so already. I just see gold is really holding up strong at the moment. If the stock markets keep selling off as they are right now, we may not see much of a retracement on that. Okay, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll actually take it out and have a look at a raw chart here, a little bit similar to what we were looking at on Friday. So on Friday, we discussed in a lot of detail where we were looking at raw charts, and we're taking a very simple trend indicator there. So just putting the 21-day moving average on the chart and utilizing that as a point of basically confluence. So if the price was above the 21-day moving average, because we often see a shift in trend going into December, especially January, but from the FOMC statement onwards is really going to dictate the strength of the dollar throughout the rest of December and into January as well. So from a trending point of view, I think most of you were on Friday's session, but again, just a bit of a reminder. We're going to take a very simple tool here, which is the 21-day moving average, which I've added to my chart. And that's the red line on the chart here that we've got at the moment. And whilst the price is above the 21-day moving average, that would be perceived as the market is within an upward trend. And when it's below the 21-day moving average, the price structure is perceived as being within a downward trend. Other than choppy price action, we've got fairly clear signals. The reason I'm mentioning it a lot at the moment, I don't normally go on about this too much, the 21 MA, is just because there's quite a lot of shifts in sentiment at the moment, where we've seen a recent break and close and potential for follow through above those key moving averages. Okay, so first of all, if we have, I'll show you what I mean exactly here. So if we have a look at euro New Zealand dollar, for example, so the anticipation is at this time of year that the euro should be stronger than the New Zealand dollar. And on Friday, we broke and closed above the 21-day moving average. You can see when we broke and closed below that, going back to mid-October, the price structure stayed below that for a couple of months. And in fact, if you just took that as a strategy, so you're only utilizing a break and close below the 21 MA, and then you sold, and then you remained in your sell short until the price came back and closed back above it, you would have made over 1,000 pips on that trade. So by the same token, on the upside here, you'd be looking for the potential to be long euro New Zealand dollar now and stay long whilst the price is above and keeps closing above the 21-day moving average, because we've got the potential for a few shifts in trend here, and the euro over this period is normally one of the strongest performing currencies. It's the same with the euro Australian dollar. So you had that breakdown and sell-off from the 21-day moving average, which goes back to towards the end of October, beginning of November. The price structure continued to sell off all the way until we got towards the first week of December, and now we've got a buy signal. We're broken and closed above it. We're consolidating, but the anticipation is at this time of year, you would expect just naturally the euro to be stronger than the Australian dollar. And that's really what we're looking at the moment with several of these moves. What I see right now with gold, I would suggest this could actually end up being a bull flag. If there's no pullback here between now and the close, and we close at about 12.42 to 12.43, I will need to execute a trade. I'll need to add to my position, because at the moment it would suggest that we're not going to get much of a pullback, that this is going to be just an underlying level of support, very shallow retracement here for gold. And we had to do this last year as well, get in before the FOMC statement, even though I prefer to wait for the FOMC statement, but otherwise we'll miss the move. So I see the potential if we hold up around the current levels, so let's say 1242 to 1243, we'll likely buy on a break above today's high tomorrow, or even execute later on today around the close, just before the close, with a view to then target 1,250, 1,260 above that and really get going. But for this week, the short-term target would be 1250. I'm waiting at the moment, it's 4 o'clock London time, to see whether we will get any degree of a pullback. If there's no pullback though, and we drive higher into the close, given that hedge funds and money managers have now switched to net long, and there's very few retracements right now, and the dollar took a bit of a whack today, and so far the dollar is not really recovering from the sell-off. So normally day to day, when the dollar sells off, you'd expect it to get some degree of support. The caveat to that is whether this is a counterflow Monday again. So whether we're going to hold at this level of resistance and then we're just going to roll over and pull back tomorrow. But gold's not suggesting that at the moment. This push up high with gold is a pretty bullish price action at the moment, and it's really not pausing at all right now. And the euro, we know throughout this period, should be quite strong. So the euro has found support today, and again I mentioned Friday, normally counterflow for the Monday, so don't look to sell or stay in sell shorts in the euro on Friday, because it's very likely it will move counterflow on the Monday. So really, I would look at this period quite simply. It's not that complicated, in my opinion, right now, in terms of what we're looking to do. So what I'm looking to do this week into next week is basically build long positions on gold. Better entries that I can get would be ideal. I'd likely take one trade later on today to add to my current long positions, either later on today or tomorrow, with a view on any pullbacks over the course of this week. I will look to add if we get a pullback around the FOMC statement. I don't know that we will, because gold is really looking quite strong at the moment. But if we do get pullbacks, I will likely look to add excuse me, to that position over the course of the week. So gold, that's what I'm looking to do. I see the potential for oil this week to see nothing special again from oil until we get going into next week. I'm basically looking at a $50 range up to 53. So with that range right now, so oil, it's still coiling, it's consolidating. I would suspect the 50 around that zone, $49.50 up to $50 is going to hold, and then we've got resistance around 53 for this week. So we'll continue to track that. I think we will likely stay quite range bound on gold this week. Silver, I'm still long. I mentioned that last week. I'm just staying long silver basically throughout this period. Silver has the best performance in January out of some of the main commodities that we track. So I'll just keep my core position on silver, and I'll maintain that as we go into January now. So I'm not adding to silver, but at the same time, I'm looking to add via gold at the moment. Euro, I have a long position on at the moment, which I'm going to keep on, but that's more of a swing trade. And Euro New Zealand dollar as well is giving me a buy signal. I've been looking for a retrace entry on Euro New Zealand dollar. I would see the potential for this positioned to pick up momentum in the coming weeks here, especially if we close and break and close above the high here from last week as well. I would look out for that too. Euro Swiss franc might be on if we get a break and close back above the 21 MA as well. Pound New Zealand dollar, it hit the 21-day moving average on Friday, found resistance at that zone, pulled back, and we've got a bit of a doji. We're holding resistance at that zone at the moment. New Zealand dollar CAD, I put on your radar on Friday as well. It's almost there. If it closes again below the 21-day moving average, it does suggest a shift in trend, and we might well look to sell short into the New Zealand dollar CAD. So haven't got a sell on it yet, but that is on my watch list as well. The New Zealand dollar Japanese yen, again, it looks vulnerable. It now looks like a potential trend change in play as well. So I'm looking at potential to short the New Zealand dollar Japanese yen. New Zealand dollar US dollar, I'm a bit torn on that one. I prefer some of the other crosses at the moment. The problem is if gold starts to rally a lot over the coming weeks here, New Zealand dollar will get a bit of support. So I'm not as in favor of shorting that directly against the US dollar at the moment. So I'm waiting on that. US dollar Swiss franc backing and filling a little bit today. We'll see. We've got a buy signal on that, but we'll see how it closes later on in the session as well. Australian dollar, same situation. If gold and silver pick up momentum, it could also start to pick up momentum. I'm seeing more potential for the US dollar CAD to sell off, which could be a few crosses could work out. So the New Zealand dollar CAD might well be a good way to take advantage of that as well. But I'm looking at more downside on the US dollar CAD. Platinum, I've got a buy signal on platinum. It's actually pretty good from a risk to reward point of view. In fact, where we are at the moment. In fact, I might need to come back to platinum here. Let's just have a look at that with the Keltners. Right at the lower end of the Keltners at the moment, 790. I might look to execute that before the FOMC statement this week. See, I have a buy signal on that right now. Okay, let's put that back on the radar. Gold really doesn't want to pull back, does it? 1243 now. It's really not pulling back at all today. Might be the low for the week, guys. 1235 on gold. Then 1250 I'm looking at first target. Above that, much higher, but 1250 first target. But really, gosh, almost at 1244. Does not want to pull back today, gold. Looks like we've got a bull flag on gold there then, guys. We'll see how that closes later on today, but we were looking at that. For those of you who watched our commodity report for the week ahead, personally, I wanted lower prices for gold this week. So I wanted to see lower prices because either way we were going to get long, but the lower the price got this week, the better from an execution point from the FOMC statement. But you can see it's pretty shallow retracement at the moment. This will likely catch a lot of traders off guard as well because they won't get the relevant exposure for this as we go into the next period, end of December, next couple of weeks into January as well, because it's really shallow, the retracement that we're seeing so far. So my next target is 1250. Above that, much higher targets that we've got as we go into January. That to me definitely looks like a bull flag at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see how gold closes later on today. But gold seems to be up and running. Platinum could actually be a good way because platinum is lagging and there's a much more a better risk reward because it's coming off the lower end of the channels. Platinum could actually be quite a good way to look at taking advantage of the correlation over this period. So I would also definitely have platinum on the radar too. But gold is definitely waking up. The swing lows, you've got two swing lows on gold. So you basically got 1211 swing low, and then you've got around about 1195 swing low. We'll see how that closes later on today. We're at 4:20 London time at the moment. So unless we sell off much more over the next hour, we're probably going to hold above 1240 with gold today. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. I think those are really the best trade ideas I'm looking at the moment. I'll see if there's anything else that we should just have on the radar. Australian dollar CAD actually might be worth having on the radar if oil rallies over the end of December, because that should sell off. I'm looking at more downside. What did we get down to today? I had 256. Wow, did we get there? Yeah, we did. We hit our level. So that should actually start picking up momentum now. I'm targeting now about the 2640 zone. So we hit the support zone on the S&P. I'm not expecting a lot more downside from here, guys, in the S&P. I think that will probably be it. The low for the week is in today would be my anticipation on the S&P, and then we'll retrace from here. I'm not expecting a big old rally from here, but I'm expecting a move, potential gap fill now, back up to around 2,640. Yeah, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc might be worth having on the radar as well. Potentially a bit of a change, a bit of a head and shoulders pattern there too. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar only if it breaks and closes above the 21-day moving average. Would I consider that? Even then, I don't really like that cross at the moment. It's not Euro, New Zealand dollar is much more my preference. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, yeah, it still does look a bit weak. US dollar, Japanese yen did take a hit today. Got definitely this overhead resistance zone at the moment. But you've also got a lot of support to probably still coil and stay within that range. Over this period, I'm not really looking to trade that US dollar, Japanese yen that much over the Christmas period. What I do, I try and give you my kind of top watch list. I'm just doing a bit of shuffling around here in terms of trade ideas, which ones I prefer. Yeah, I'll give you the I'll give you my top 10. Yeah, okay. So I think I've got the top 10 there. So this is what I'm looking at. Trade ideas, I'd say this is pretty much over the next couple of weeks going into January, okay? So these are more swing trades, if you like. So my top 10 trade ideas, gold, I'm looking to get long. Well, I'm already long, but I'm looking to add positions to gold over this period. The better the entry, the retracements would be more optimal. We do have an FOMC statement on Wednesday. I don't know that gold will hold these sort of resistance zones before then. It might break out ahead of that. So gold, I'm looking at building positions over this period. US dollar CAD, I'm looking for a pullback here, but with oil quite range bound, we may not move a lot until we get into next week. Like for like, really, Australian dollar CAD similar. I'm looking for a sell-off. New Zealand dollar CAD similar. I'm looking for a sell-off. Platinum as well. I've got a buy signal on at the moment from the lower end of the range. I'd wait until the close today, but that would offer potential for quite good upside there. If you just look at that from a Keltner channel point of view, that is where I'll show you on a different chart. That is where from Keltner to Keltner, it has a lot of upside. It's at the lower end of the Keltners right now. So we could be looking for a move all the way up towards the upper end of the Keltners there over the next month or so. So I do quite like that with platinum. And silver, I'm going to stay long. So that's also another trade I'm in at the moment. I'm going to stay long. Euro as well, I'm going to stay long. I like Euro Australian dollar and I like Euro New Zealand dollar over this period. I'd say Euro New Zealand dollar probably has the better risk reward potential. So I do like that from a trade idea point of view. Euro New Zealand dollar. And you're not really so dependent on what the Fed does on the US dollar. correlations and so on. You just need the euro to perform better over this period than the New Zealand dollar, and it's high probability that it will do from a seasonal point of view. So euro, Australian dollar as well, but I think that's further gone to the upside. Euro, New Zealand dollar actually has a better a percentage. I might add to that actually after this webinar. Just looking at that now, looks like a good point to actually add to that position on euro, New Zealand dollar. So I might add to my trade on that. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. I see downside on that, potential for more downside. Obviously, another potential break and close by the 21 of May. Looks like we're shifting trends. So I think that's one's probably a reasonable one to have on the radar. You might want to wait before the close to have a look at that. Again, these are just my trade ideas. You know, it's not, they're just trade ideas. It is what it is. These are trade ideas. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. Those are the top 10 trade ideas. I hope that helps a little bit in terms of what we're looking at over this this period. And it gives you a little bit of a sense in terms of some of the trade opportunities that I see coming up over really the next couple of weeks as we get closer towards the end of the year here as well. Okay, so I hope that helps, guys. Also, for those of you, I'm sure a lot of you have already got a account all sorted and set up, but if you do, or if you are looking to take some of these trades, especially if you want to start setting up and just get ready for trade opportunities over the Christmas period here, depending on your location, if you're based in the EU or if you're based internationally, there's the link there just so you can get going. You can set up either a demo or a live account, but at least you can start practicing, getting ready. And especially over the Christmas period, I don't think it's going to be quiet. I think it's going to be busy. I think there's going to be lots of trade opportunities, and definitely I think it's a good time of year just to get ready for the next year, start preparing, getting a bit of a trading plan together. And of course, if you just want to get access to more information, learn more, so if you want to study over this period, excuse me, if you want to study over this period and you want an opportunity to go through a lot of training material, we're actually open over the Christmas period because there's so many trades that we see, that especially in commodities, opportunities right now with everything going on with Brexit at the moment, the trade opportunities that we see on commodities right now and the volatility in the markets. We're going to be delivering webinars over this period and doing enrollments and so forth. So if you do want to learn more, it's a great time of year to do so, guys. Set up really well for 2019. You can get access to all of our training resources on our membership site. You'll of course get all of our trade alerts as well, real time, and all of the breaking news too. You've got access to our webinars, all of our private members academy, trading research, market insights. You've got access to support and also our exclusive live trading room webinars as well. So you've also got access to those. So the link for that is www.jointhelivetradingroom.com if you want to make an application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club. And do make sure you just subscribe to the YouTube channels as well, Binary and also Gold and Silver Club, so you don't miss out on all of the recordings too. Okay, so I think that's it for today's session. I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you some clarity just in terms of our thinking right now. We'll check back with you. Let me just check in on the webinars we'll be doing this week. So we'll be back with you also actually on Wednesday. So Wednesday at 5 o'clock London time before the FOMC statement. So we'll go through trade ideas with you then as well. And then Friday, we'll have a session. I believe we've got a session for you as well on Friday, actually Thursday at 6 o'clock London time, I believe as well this week. And then for binary webinars, we won't be having a webinar next week, and we'll catch you back here in January, guys. But again, if you want to join all of our resources and our mentorship, just go to the link there on the screen right now. Okay, fantastic. So with that, I wish you all good trading. We'll catch you back here during the webinars during the week as well, guys. So just have a good Monday, and we'll see you on the next one. And thanks to Sharice and the team at binary.com for hosting today's session. And bye for now. Okay, thanks everyone. All the best. Take care.